Okay, because Sarah didn't remind me when to record, I'm now going to have to go over this again. Okay, so I'm starting here at page 159. Okay, now it's asking where is sign negative. This would be good review for some of you guys who are like, oh crap, I didn't get it the first time anyway. Where is sign negative? It is in quadrant 3, but this one also told me to be in quadrant 3. Now I know that it is negative 4 belongs to the y because 5 has to be positive because it is the radius. Okay, for then I put it in, I need to solve for x, and I get plus or minus 3, and I picked minus 3 because it has to be that because it's in quadrant 3. And then I put negative 3 over 5 and negative 4 over negative 3, which is 4/3, showing tan is positive, and that's right in there. Okay, example 4. We are now looking at where is tan negative, that's in quadrants 2 and 4, and where is cos positive. Cos is positive in 1 and 4. We can't use 1 because it wouldn't satisfy tan, so we are going to be working in quadrant 4. Now, why do I like this question? It doesn't just say go to quadrant 4, but it does say that. Okay? In a mathematical language, it says go to quadrant 4. But you have to translate. And you need to know the language to be able to translate. And if you don't understand the Castor rule, and you don't understand how the tan and cos ratios work, you're not going to get this one. Then it said find sine theta. Okay? What do I know? Okay? Now we're going to draw the same kind of triangle. Now even if it looks like a 45-degree triangle all the time, who cares? Okay? It's not going to be to scale. But you're going to get in the habit of always drawing that triangle there. And don't ever draw it to the y-axis. It's bad. What do I know? What sides? So you're saying y is negative 2. So you're putting the negative with the 2. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. Because y is negative there. And x is 3. Now, so you have to make that decision based on the diagram. Don't go, oh, look, the negative. And they purposely didn't put it on the top. But if they did, and I put this one in, say, quadrant 1, I wouldn't be able to do that. If I put it in quadrant 2, people would still say the negative goes with the x. It does in that one. Okay, what I'm trying. They'll say the negative goes with the y, and I'll go y, because it's up top with it. You have to know that these 3 things mean the same thing. Okay? Those are all identical numbers. So if I put it up top, in the middle, or the bottom, there's still one negative in there. So just be clear that where the negative sign is in the question does not mean it belongs with that number. You will have to go to the diagram. Okay, and in this one we are finding r. Yeah. Okay, and since I know you guys know how to find r, so find r and then go negative 2 over r. Okay, we've done a bunch of those already, right? So I'm not going to go through that because we have lots to do today. Okay. Now, this is where we really get into the, this was kind of just one little step up from yesterday. It didn't come out, say, go into this quadrant. Now, today we're going to be learning kind of the logistics of how do you find, if I gave you the answer, how do I find the angles? Now your calculator has a limitation. In many ways there's 2 answers to these questions, but your calculator will only give you 1. Okay? I think the best way to be able to explain this is we're going to do an example. Now it says, use the procedure above. Now we're going to write our own steps down. because it kind of makes it a lot simpler if we make up our own. But the first step you're going to do is you're always going to draw your kind of crosshairs and then put cast down. Okay? Now, first thing you look at is you choose your quadrants. Now, how do you choose your quadrants? Well, you look at what is the sign right here. There's a positive there. It's hard to see because it's invisible, but it is there. So, where is sign positive? Quadrants 1 and 2. Okay? So, choose your quadrants. And in this example, sign is positive in 1 and 2. Now, this is a super important step because we know how math goes, right? You screw up step 1, usually the rest all goes bad. Okay? So now I know what quadrants I'm playing in. I don't even get to be in 3 and 4. Not allowed. Okay? Now, 2 is you're going to go with your calculator, second sign. Now, you're always going to put in the absolute value. Now, for everybody that doesn't know what absolute value is, absolute value takes every positive number in the world and leaves it alone. But it takes every negative number in the world and makes it positive. So if that said sign negative 0.5, I use the negative to pick the quadrants, but then I put in 0.5. Now, if you do this, you'll get an angle. Whenever you go second function, or it was called the second function button when I was growing up. It was second F. So now I go, if I say second function, people are going second, and they're looking for the function button, and then they're going, okay? So I've learned that well enough. Just hit second sign. Hopefully you're in degree mode. Second sign 0.5. What do you get as an answer? Equals 30 degrees. This is called the reference angle. Now, your calculator will only ever give you the reference angle. Okay? It will not give you... And what is the reference angle? Acute angle to the x-axis. Good. That was a good... Okay? So it has to be an acute angle to the x-axis. Many of you were like, please don't ask me, please don't ask me, please don't ask me. You have to know what a reference angle is, you guys. So we just found the reference angle is 30 degrees. So now you go to your diagram and you do this. Since there are 2 quadrants that I'm playing in, I will do this. Okay, 3. Let's find rotation angles. Okay, so that's the first one is this one, because rotation angles, remember, they start from 3 o'clock, and we go counterclockwise. So what's the first rotation angle? 30. And the next rotation angle? How much? How'd you get 150? Huh? Okay, and the second one you go 180 minus 30, and you'll get 50 degrees. So your answers are theta equals 30 degrees and, 150 degrees. Okay, now put that into your calculator. Sine 30 equals, sine 150 equals. Okay, now these are really fast to check. So do you understand that your calculator will never give you the 150? Only the brain will do it. And you need all of these steps to be able to find the second angle. Okay? Now I just want to show you something. You don't have to do this, but I just want to show you on the calculator. Now, what I did was I have sine x in there. Okay, I'm even going to get rid of this right now. And here's my window settings. Again, don't do it. Just look up. 0, 360, 30. 0, 360 degrees. And then you'll find that the curve goes from 1 to -1. So that is, this what you're looking at is what the sine curve looks like. Now, for people who don't know that this is a circular thing. Okay, when you're in a Ferris wheel, the height you go, okay, goes up, and then say the center, your height actually always makes this periodic function. Okay, now each one of these is 30 degrees, 30, 60, 90. If I follow it up, that's exactly what sine equals at that point. Now, let me put in, when does sine x equal 0.5? It happens at 30, 60, 90, 100, 150. It happens at, see, 30 and 150. It never happens again. Do you see that there's often that it does happen twice? And there's sometimes it only happens once. Okay? Now tan has a different graph. Okay, there's your times, and you can ignore these. These are just asymptotes, okay? But that's when tan equals 0.5. And cos curve's a little different. See, here's when it equals 0.5, right there and right there. Okay? So I just wanted you to have a kind of a visual of what's going on. Why is there two answers? Why is there 2 times this happens? Because it's a periodic function. And there's, when it goes like this, now this is just within 360 degrees. Next year we'll do it in 720 degrees. What are all the answers? Okay? And maybe I'll squish the sine curve. How many times would it happen? So you got to know how to do all that next year. Right now, let's just deal with the sine curve. Okay. We definitely need to do a couple more of these. So we're going to do this one. Now I have the steps above. So let's do them. Step 1 is draw this. Doesn't have to be huge. And write cast down. Now, step 1 is looking at this. The question I ask is, when is sine negative? 3 and 4? So you can check them off and cross this out. You can tell the students that have missed this class or the last class will find this concept the most difficult. At this point, you should be going, it's kind of easy. When is sine negative? Use your cast rule, right? Just think if you didn't have the cast rule, you'd be looking right now going, what? Okay? Now, step 2 was find the reference angle. You find the reference angle by going second sine. What are you putting in your calculator after that? Yes, 0.8090. Am I ignoring the negative? Yes, for this part, but I did use it already. Okay? So I took care of the negative. It's not like I'm just, no, I don't even want to know it. Okay? I used the negative. Now I'm just using the answer. Okay? Now remember, last class we were doing equals 3/4. Now it's 0.8090. Okay? They're not nice little numbers. What do we get? How much? 54 degrees you should get, right? Yeah, let's round it. Well, see this part? I didn't show you that. We're always going to go nearest degree, okay? So we got 54 degrees. What did we just find? This is your reference angle. Okay, so step 2, I'm always going to be calling this our reference angle. Okay? So I draw a 54 here. Okay. Now now I've got to find rotation angles, right? How do I find the first one? So 180 plus 54, and I get 234. And how do I find the next one? 360 minus 54 degrees, and I will get 306 degrees. Is this starting to make sense? Okay. How do I know they're right? Sine 234 equals sine 306 equals. Make sure I get the same answer. Okay, let's do C. Okay, again, get a routine going. First thing, draw. Right cast. Okay, and all I'm looking is this right now. When is tan negative? 2 and 4. Okay? Now, I know they took a lot of stuff down from 30 into here, but man, is this trig unit so much easier to teach. All of this was in 30. There was so much trig, and none of it was in 20. So a lot of the stuff you're seeing is about half of what I used to have to teach in 30. So you may not be enjoying this year because it's a bit tougher, but let's face it, grade 12 is the year everybody looks at, all your universities look at for your mark. So it's nice that that course has been slacked off a bit. Okay, now 2 is find your reference. Okay, and that will go second tan 2.4. So what do we get for reference angle? 68 degrees. Okay, now do your best to draw 68. And always do your best to make sure you're drawing it to the x-axis. And through practice, this becomes mechanical. And I could even look at today's quiz. There's some people that couldn't do that last question at all. So you couldn't have done the homework. It's impossible. Or you have such a poor memory, you might want to get that checked out. Okay. How would I find the first angle? 180 minus 68 degrees, which is 112. And next one. How would I do it? 360 degrees minus 68 degrees equals 392. Does this make sense? Okay. Check them. Yep. Because your calculator will give you a negative direction angle, which actually no, it wouldn't give you that. What your calculator will do sometimes is maybe give you, well, put it in actually. What do you get when you go second tan, negative 2 point? I think you might get, negative 67. So now it's hard to deal with that number, right? But there's sometimes that it actually gives you just one of the answers. Like if it gave you 292, it's kind of hard to find the other one from that. Okay? So it's actually just a routine to go through to keep things kind of where you understand them. Okay? Now, just in case you are understanding this, I'm going to try and mess you up. Because there's some weird cases out there that you're like, huh? And some of you would just like curl up in a ball and start crying. So I'm going to go through these. And it actually works out for me too, because you can see If I didn't do these questions, I would have people lined up at my desk. So these are the ones that we're going to do the same way. They're a little weird. And I'm going to show you how to deal with the little weird things. Okay. Sine A equals 1. Let's just do that. I mean, how hard can that be? Sine A equals 1. Even B, sine theta equals 0. How hard is that going to be? Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe I'm wasting my time. Maybe I didn't have to do these. Okay? I might as well draw these while I'm... That's how you start every question, so... Okay. Might want to get a little stamp made. Now, what would be... When does sine theta equals 1? Now it's positive. When is sine positive? 1 and 2. So far, so good. I don't know how this one's weird. Okay, then that's 1. 2 is find the reference angle. What do you get? 90 degrees. You know what I get? I get people flipping to their notes and coming up and saying, Mr. Trimble, it says that the reference angle has to be less than 90 degrees. It has to be a acute angle to the x-axis. It says right here, this was 90 degrees. That's not acute. And then someone would like get the Wikipedia up and show me what, you know, and I'll say, okay, there is one time that it can be 90, and that is when sine equals 1. So if I do a reference up 90 degrees, you see how I would hit here? If I came up 90, and if I did a 90 reference to the other one, I would come up here. So when does sine equal 90? So what would my rotation angle be? 90 degrees. Okay? Now, do you see how this one would mess you guys up? I'd have people going, well, like, where do I come up? Like, what do I do? So I did what I did before, but there's only one answer. And there's only one time that sine equals 1. Okay? And if I go to my graph, if I put when does sine equal 1, this is the only time right there. It's the only time sine equals 1. There's only one time when sine equals negative 1. Right down there. For all of the other answers, there's 2 of them. And there's some times that it's none of them. What if it was going here? When does sine x equal 2? Never. Okay. So I don't know if we get into this here, but sometimes there isn't any answers, and you just write no answer. Okay. But it actually takes knowledge to be able to write no answer. Okay. So there's the graph, and that shows you when sine. Now, when does cos x equal 0? Okay, well, let's do the 3 steps. Okay, so when am I 1 and 4? Why? Okay, now so here's the trick. 0 is positive and negative. Okay? So it's just good to know. 0 is always positive and negative. So you should always put a plus minus there. So when is cos positive and negative? All 4 quadrants. So next, what's my reference angle? 90 degrees. So what we do is we come up 90, come up 90, come up 90, come up 90. So 3, my rotation angles are 90 degrees and 270 degrees. Okay? See how those ones are kind of weird? Okay? Now number 8 definitely is going to show up on a quiz and test, because you got to go just one more. 3 tan theta plus 1 equals 4. Okay? So let's do this one together. This is a very hard question. I would probably have, well, in last class, no one could get this one. So I might get 1, 2 out of the grade 11s. After I do this, I should get all of you getting this question. Now, the first thing, it's not a nice little tan theta, like look at all the other ones. Sine theta equals, cos theta equals, this has got like this huge mess equals 4. Like, are you joking? Okay, but what's the goal? Get tan theta by itself. How can you do that? Minus 1 first. So then you have 3 tan theta equals 3. And all of a sudden does it start to look so ugly now? So what would I do? Divide by 3, divide by 3. So when does tan theta equals 1? So it has that preliminary step before you. Okay? So when is tan theta equal positive? 1 and 3. Okay? What's reference? Reference is 90 degrees. No. 45 degrees. Okay? So you draw 45 degrees there. Draw 45 degrees there. So what are my rotation angles? 45 degrees. And 225. Is that right? Okay. So how many people think they could have got this? Okay. This is the wrong answer. Okay. Anyone know why this is the wrong answer? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Mean, hey? Oh, where's my magic pen? Oh. Why is my magic pen not working? That's no fun. That's weird that it's not working. Oh, now it is. No? Oh, I get it. Okay, here comes magic pen, and whoosh. Okay. It says you're not allowed to play in the bottom quadrants. So that gets students, like you got to watch that domain. If you look at all the rest, look, they're all 0, 360, 0, 360. So because of this, okay, then I got one more for you that I think many students would get wrong if I didn't do it with you. Okay, so one more. Tan theta equals, or tan squared theta equals 3. Let's do that. Okay, tan squared theta equals 3. Now again, what is obscure about this one? First of all, huh? What does that mean? This is the way that it's written, but this is what it means. Okay, that's what it means. So now you know. Okay, so now we're just translating a language here. That's what it means. And I think once I put it that way, most people go, okay, I get that. Okay, so you just rewrite it as that. Now, if you weren't here, you don't go through the notes or whatever, you won't do that. And you'll just be asking Mr. Well, what does this do? Okay, now, how would I solve this? Take the square root of both sides, right? So, tan theta equals square root 3. Yes. Because I want to get rid of this squared. So if I square root that, oh no, it's because that's the question. Okay, that's the question. I'm doing a new question. Okay, this is like example 83, whatever you want. Okay, so where is tan positive? 1 and 3? Is that right? Okay. What's the reference angle? Is it 60? Yep. So put a 60 there, and a 60 there. So what are my rotation angles? Why? No, this one I'm going to go. So rotation angle is 60 degrees and 40 degrees. Okay? Now this one's wrong. That is not the correct answer. I made a mathematical error in there somewhere. Can somebody find it? Okay, I'll give you a hint. I taught you must always do this, or you'll get it wrong. And no, it's not brackets this time. It's something else. Yeah? No? Nobody knows? I have done this every other time till now. I purposely didn't do it this time to see if anybody would catch it. And nobody caught it. Can't believe you guys can even live with yourselves right now. Here it is. Are you ready? When you take the square root of both sides, it should be plus or minus. When is tan plus or minus? Everywhere. And yes, you would have got it wrong. So now it is 60. What's the other one? What is it? 120, 240, and 300. Now that is a classic multiple choice question because it'll have 60, 240 will be B, and then 60, 120, 240, 300 will be D, but you'll pick B if you did not go plus minus. Okay? So in this case, D would have been the right answer. Is everybody... Now these are all the obscure ones. These are the ones that now they're fair game for quizzes and tests. Okay? And if you're not studying these ones, then remember, I can't be giving away 100%. You have to earn them. Okay? If I'm giving you 100% in class, you should be getting 100% in the diploma. So I will go through these obscure ones if you choose to learn them and they actually contribute to your learning. It's not like a separate thing. Hey guys, here's a little bonus question. So it has nothing to do with the curriculum if you know how to do it, okay? If you learn these, you're still learning the other ones too, right? Okay, so we're doing 1 to 18, but for 11 and 12, you can just do the A, C, E, ... right? Okay, so these are actually just 18 questions. Some people did finish in class. Well, except for the 11 and 12, they're ACEs. But it does go quick. Please do your steps. Get good at them. It doesn't help to rush. A bonus in your homework is not worth... I have people that have all their homework done, and they are failing unit exams and quizzes. That is hard to explain, you guys. It's hard to understand for me. Okay, you guys can get working.
Do you like do this bit like do it tomorrow's like at lunch and then like do our test like this week and then next week like during math class just go to the library and do the next unit, or should we do